Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight we bring you a brand new league in the Next Level E-Series Lamborghini GT3 Cup. And obviously, this is round one, and we are from the fantastic Long Beach circuit. In the booth with me tonight, we have a full house. We have on the cameras Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Oh, I'm surprised. Good evening, everybody.
I thought I'd do you first for a change so you
Yeah,
didn't
thank
feel
you.
left out. On comms, we have Mr. Pete Bingham. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
We also have Mr. Bill Barbecue Switzer. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
And we also have Mr. Tyler Newitt. Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
So, those of you that have seen us before will know Tyler is the only professional amongst us. So, let's start with Mr. Pete Bingham. New series, new car. I'm going to say new track as well because it used to be a tech track and now it's finished. Apart from carnage at the hairpin, what else are you expecting from this? Has the car been released long enough for people to get to grips with it?
I think so, yeah. It depends which human is behind the wheel, of course. There are some nasty little turns on here, so going around that waterfall that we've just seen, if you get your right-hand tyres on the little bumpy bit that's on the side, it turns the car for you. You won't see it from that camera angle, you'd have to be on and on board, I think. There's a few corners where you can take utter liberties with the track limits. As we blast our way down the start-finish straight and into turn one. That little one there punts you into the right-hand wall, so that'll be fun later. The little bump there on the right, if you used it actually, that was quite good. You can cut a bit of this one, but it punts you out into the wall. And this one here, you can take a massive amount of this red stuff, white stuff. Not quite that much, but never mind. And there's a few turns like that on this track. I've always liked this track, even when it was a tech track. We did a race around here once, if you remember. It was hilarious, and that was back when all the buildings were square plots. But actually, as a track, I prefer it to Belle Isle. It's not quite as oppressive with its corners, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was a fantastic track. I think we did V8s round it at one point, which was interesting.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, Bill. Obviously being a native of America, how does Long Beach stack up in comparison to other road courses?
Well, it's a street circuit, so it's hard to compare it against.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. I don't know. We've had so many street circuits that have kind of come and gone. They start them out for 2 or 3 years, and then they decide to move a professional series somewhere else. But Long Beach is the longest standing one, hence Long Beach. No, not really. But anyway, they race Indy cars here, and they have some kind of Toyota celebrity blah blah race there. And so it's an interesting place. It's a lovely little city. I don't know. I'm not really super familiar with this, other than crashing you out one time, Clyde, here. But other than that, I don't know too much about Long Beach. So it's going to kind of be a learning experience for me. I'm kind of looking forward to it, especially with the new GT3 Lamborghini we have. I want to see how it does. So
yeah, I must admit it does look absolutely fantastic. And we got Maximilian Paul, or we had Maximilian Paul on screen at one point, and he's done the old chrome livery, which looks excellent. Tyler, what experience have you got round Long Beach, and have you managed many laps in the new Lambo?
Yeah, I've done quite a few laps virtually around Long Beach. I'm a big IndyCar fan. I worked in IndyCar for a while, so I think as street circuits go, Long Beach is probably the best. I know that's a broad, big statement to make, but it really has such a nice rhythm to it. The only kind of corner that is not great is the hairpin, but even then, I think it still poses an interesting challenge, and really, you have to be conscious of the physical limits of your car. not just through the hairpin, but similarly through the fountain section. To go quickly through there, you need to be as close to the walls as you can on entry and exit. So to answer your question instead of going off on a tangent.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I have driven the Lambo a bit, not around Long Beach. I given it the shakedown around here. I think it's a pretty comfortable car to drive as far as the GT3 cars go. Kind of fits into the all-rounder role, I would say, in GT3. You know, it doesn't particularly notably excel in one area or another, but it's just kind of good everywhere. So these drivers should be, obviously it's the only car choice available, so they don't have to worry about how it stacks up to the other GT3 cars, but I think they're in for a treat. I think it's a pretty good car, and as I said, I love Long Beach. I think they'll have a lot of fun around here, assuming they make it through the inevitable hairpin pile-up alive.
Yeah, and I think the Lambo is a very good addition to the GT field, or GT3 field, even though we're just in the Lambo tonight. We just need the Bentley Continental now, and then I'll be happy.
Amen, brother.
Best sounding car ever. So, as we said earlier, or I'll tell you what, let's do our little disclaimer first. We are by far the best murderers of names in the business. So, if we do get your name wrong, please feel free to correct us. We won't take offence. And as usual, if we really can't get your name, we'll just make something up and give you a new name. So that's our disclaimer. Evening to Gary Craig, to Nils and Chris Jackson on our chat. We've got quite a few people watching at the moment. Please get involved with the chat. Ask us questions, have some banter. If we don't know the answers to your questions, bear in mind this is a new series to us. We will do our best to find the answers for you. We should have at least 2 of the organisers coming in for the chat before the racing gets underway. So if you've got any questions for them, get them in now, and we'll make sure that we ask them. So Pete, Tyler touched on the hairpin. We've been watching this practice session. To be honest, the last 10 minutes or so hasn't been too bad, but right at the start we were seeing these cars just to struggle getting enough turn into the car to get round it.
When me and Gary, funnily enough, who's on the chat, did some laps around here, it was in week 13, I think. It was the first track and car combination that they put out for the Lamborghini. We had a great blast around here. We didn't actually do a race because that would have ended up in utter carnage and a loss of safety rating at monumental proportions. But there's plenty of places that this car loses grip and becomes unstable. So that'll be interesting, particularly lap 1. It took us about 3 laps to get enough heat in the tyres to get proper turn on the car. And I don't know whether that's because of the type of surface or just you don't want to power that, do you? Or whether it's just because we were unfamiliar with the car. But after a while, we were getting around here in good order and a bit less crashy than when we started, or particularly in Gary's case, I was still pinning it on certain corners. It's easy for this car to over-rotate, and it does it quite a lot at this turn here, where Lamborghini is going through right now, and also at the hairpin. If you get on the gas too soon in this one, it over-rotates, and probably someone who knows what they're talking about, like Tyler or Bill, could actually explain why it over-rotates the way it does. But yeah, I worry I worry that we may end up with a reduced field after the first hairpin.
Yeah, not quite sure whether these guys get a fast repair or not, but we'll find out. We are currently in the 50 minute practice session. We've obviously started a little bit earlier than usual tonight so that we can try and talk you through the series, and you can have a run through the names on the timing. Pick your favourites. Also, you know, we want to have this chat with the organisers. I have sent them a message and reminded them, so hopefully they will be in soon. We will obviously get to know the drivers a bit better as this 6-race season goes on. But after practice, we've got a 15-minute qualifying session and then a 1-hour race. So let's go to Tyler. I know you do peruse the forums quite often. I've not seen any complaints about this car yet.
No, I haven't either. To be honest, I haven't spent a ton of time in the Lamborghini forum because I don't plan on driving it all that much. But I haven't seen any complaints. I have seen within the forum some pretty good backing of the BOP job that iRacing's done. But that, as we said before, it doesn't matter here today because everybody's in the Lamborghini. But as far as I know from driving it, the only complaint I had was the location of the rear view camera. Because it really gets in your line of sight when you're looking into Apex on right-handers, in my opinion. That's at least with a VR headset.
We've never hit an Apex in our lives, so you know. I'm just gonna cut in. Sorry, Tyler, but we have one of the organisers, Jelly Bean, as I'm calling him, in with us in the booth. Jelly, welcome to the booth.
Thanks, guys.
And congratulations on this series. Looks like you've got a fantastic grid for the first race.
Yeah, it's amazing. The initial grid was 55 cars and a waiting list, but sadly there is today a race in Belcar as well. So some of the drivers they had to skip this one. But luckily we had 4 people from the waiting list that stepped up, and I think we're quite close to 55 cars today.
Yeah. Do you think 55 cars into the hairpin is going to work on lap 1?
If you don't dare, you never know.
So tell us a little bit about the series and some of the standout rules.
Yeah, well, we started with the 24 hours of Kota end of November, endurance one, and actually soon after that we had the idea to organize both endurance and sprint series. 6 rounds. We do this one, Long Beach. After that we have another one in Spa. Then we go Grand Jet Grand Prix, Imola, Road America and Daytona to end off.
So some fantastic tracks on that schedule.
Yeah, if you ask me, it's perfect ones and also good for the GT3 car, and that's actually why we chose it. But yeah, the rest it's a basic sprint series. We have a good rule book in place because we want fair racing. And yeah, if there's misbehaviors, we will penalize people. So therefore, we want to make sure we have a good and competitive series, and also one that other drivers want to come back to.
Most definitely, and obviously from our point of view, one that's great to broadcast on. So, are there any fuel limits on these cars, or have they got full tanks?
No, we're doing the 60% fuel limit, so you are allowed to fuel up until 60% capability of the car. So I think we will see some pit stops.
I would hope so. Yes, most definitely. And what about incident points? Is there any limit, and then drivers get a drive-through or a DQ?
Yeah, we have limits. That's why I say we have a perfect rule book in place. We do 15 X's and then incidents, as you call them, before drive-through, and 30 incidents before disqualification. And also what we do is post-race incident report. So drivers are allowed to report an incident with a timestamp of iRacing. We'll have a look at it, and if post-race penalties need to be applied, we'll do so.
Excellent. That's certainly the way to do it. Is there any live stewarding, or is everything post-race?
No, live stewarding is quite hard in iRacing still. So yeah, that only makes sense in endurance, if you ask me. So what we will try to do is only post-race, and hopefully iRacing keeps improving. So yeah, live stewarding becomes easier to do.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure getting you in the booth, and I know you're itching to get back in the car and carry on with the practice session. So we'll let you go for now, but hopefully you'll pop in for an interview at the end of the race.
We'll do so, definitely.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time and good luck in the race.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Right, so that was one of our series organisers, and I'm going to have to call him Jelly Bean. It's too inviting not to. So, Bill, let's see if Bill's still awake.
Barely.
Not a nap, have you? No? Okay.
Barely.
Have you bought the Lambo for a start?
Yeah, I have it. I've done minimal lapping, test driving with it, and Tyler mentioned, of course, Tyler's a good driver. I'm not a great driver, but I noticed one thing about it, that it seemed relatively easy to drive, and then it had a tendency to get a little squirrely. And the way, unfortunately, I'm kind of an aggressive throttle guy, and I think I wore out the tires because after I don't know, I can't remember how many laps. I was testing at, let me think where I was. I think it was at Spa, actually, and it had a tendency to either oversteer or push, and both, so I guess the tires were going. But it was fun to drive. It sounds a little bit different than cars I'm accustomed to, but it was fun.
And obviously, we always go for you, go to you for your expertise in barbecuing engines. Have you had a chance to barbecue and rate the Lambo yet?
No, I haven't barbecued it. It feels, I'll tell you, I think it's going to fit very well in the GT3 series. I've driven most of those, and it feels pretty much the same. I think it feels a hell of a lot better than like the Mercedes-Benz and the BMW Z3. I think that feels a hell of a lot better than those. But it feels more like like an Audi, which I guess it kind of really is. But that's what it feels like to me. And I like the stability of that Audi. I think it feels really nice. I like the way that drives.
Oh, there's one in the wall.
Yeah, that was a little problem.
Right. Who is the Cowboy 99 on the chat? Obviously somebody that either watches or drives in our normal Friday night slot, which is the V8 European Strength and Field race. But they've joined us tonight on the chat, so please let us know who you are, because I can't remember that one for some reason. Pete, you any idea?
No, I tend not to pay attention. And including, did you ask Jellybean if they do qualifying with everybody on track? Because 15-minute qualifying with 50 cars on the track, that's going to be impossible.
Sounds like everybody's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an open. Right. So the Cowboy is Sam.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just not our Sam.
No, Devantier.
Why the Cowboy? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Not Uncle Sam.
We'll find out. We'll find out at some point. And evening to Yannick Tice on the chat. So, Tyler, a 1 hour race. We've seen in the 1 hour races that we do with the GT4s and the TCRs, patience can be a virtue with tyres. We know some of these drivers. We know we've got some professional drivers in this series, but a lot of them are unknown. What sort of mindset do you think drivers are going to go into this? Are they going to treat it like a 1 hour sprint, or would you hope that there is some sense and sensibility and people finding their way in the first round of a new series?
Personally, I think we're going to see a 1 hour sprint race. I don't think that's not to say we won't see people driving sensibly, but they're going to be pushing with the GT3 cars with the latest patch from iRacing. They can do a 1 hour stint pretty comfortably. It'll certainly benefit you to look after the tires for sure. We saw it in the VRA GTCC race Ty Simons, who had to make an extra pit stop, 4 tires in that hour-and-a-half race because he just thrashed them absolutely. So tire management will definitely play a part, but I don't think it'll be the main focus of these drivers. I think you're going to be kind of forced into looking after your tires just by virtue of how close and how deep this field is. I was just looking at the times in practice, and to find a driver more than a second off the pace, you have to go down to 23rd place.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are 22 drivers within a second of pace around here. Is going to keep the field pretty well bunched together, and you're pretty much always going to be in a battle, I have to believe. So you're not going to be driving 100% every single lap unless perhaps you're the race leader. So I don't think the tires are going to be a major factor. They're certainly not going to take tires even if they have to make a pit stop for fuel. It's just it doesn't make sense for the cars that change tires and fuel separately like these GT3 cars. So will it be a factor? Yes. Will it be a major factor? I don't think so. I think it's just going to come down to pace and racecraft.
Yeah, and you know, with a 60% fuel limit, Pete, that must be, I don't know what, somewhere between 35 and 40 minutes, maybe 45 on a track like this. So I would guess we're definitely going to see pit stops.
Yeah, unless any of these Lamborghinis are solar powered, which I don't think they are. Again, pit entry here. I don't know whether we can actually get a shot of it. It is a hole. Ooh, that car just shot through it, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a hole in the wall. There's nothing more to it than that. Is this the car? Let's watch this, because it is bonkers. You just have to aim at that there and go for it. It's insane. And I think you're going to see people hitting the walls, getting in the pits.
And that big, oh no, was that a number board?
What, the blue thing?
No, it was something on the right-hand side of the screen there.
All right, probably a sign that says "hit me," because I think they will.
Yeah, I don't quite know what that is until we have another on board.
It is a crazy pit entry. You know how normally you get a series of lines and you can do an approach and you can pick a spot to start your braking points and stuff. Nothing like that here. Can you imagine coming out of that hairpin with needing to pit for whatever reason and 49 other cars all piling around you?
Yeah.
That's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, somebody gets up the inside of you there, you're not going in the pit, are you?
No, they might, but you're not.
Oh, there it is. I just heard a big crash somewhere.
Yeah. That corner there that they've just come through, you can take a massive amount of the inside. There is a red rumble strip, a bit like that one there, which you can also cut, and not get a penalty, by the way.
Does that throw the balance of the car, though?
It can do, yes. However, if you don't cut that corner, the wall sticks out about 6 feet. As you would take the apex, it jumps out about 6 feet, so you have to cut that corner. And if you watch, the people who aren't are the ones that are piling it into the wall.
Yeah. There's it's a blue on blue.
Yeah, it was.
Straight away. So I'm really looking forward to this. I do like GT racing. I love the fact that this is an hour long because it's not too long that cars are going to spread out and get boring, but it's still long enough that it's just not foot to the floor. There's going to be tactics in it, and we're going to be guessing at what drivers are doing and getting it wrong. I think we're in for a treat here. We was talking before, possibly a strange track to open a series, but nonetheless a fantastic track, and we'll just see how it goes from there.
And as you saw Niels come through there, you can see the tyre wall sticks out 6 feet from the concrete wall. And in the real world, I expect that that's a safety measure. But all it does on iRace is it narrows the window. When we were going round here, Gary was following me around going, no, you need to take more of the inside, like cut in the corner, more of the cut in the corner, more cut in the corner, until I was right against the wall. And that is the most optimal line. And you can see that drivers aren't doing that quite yet, and whether they'll get there eventually, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, to me it looks like most drivers have sussed out how to get round the hairpin, and then I see one in the background hit the wall. Yeah, I'm very worried about that one. I hope these guys, show some patience and some decent racecraft, and they don't just all go piling in there, and we'll have one of those Macau type situations where nobody can go anywhere. Tyler, any names in this field that stick out to you as drivers to watch?
For sure. Well, the obvious one is Mirko Bortolotti, who just today announced that he signed a long-term deal as a returning Lamborghini factory driver. He spent a year as an Audi factory. This is in real life, of course. Spent a year as an Audi factory driver, but he won quite a few races for Lamborghini before that, including the Rolex 24 twice in a row.
So he's going from Audi to Audi then?
Yeah, probably shouldn't say that to him, but I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but he'd probably have to toe the company line there. He is currently sitting fourth. I was watching a different race that I was broadcasting with a different network, and
We
won.
don't mind you naming him, mate. Don't worry.
No, it's fair enough. It was with Apex Racing TV, the Lockdown Challenge, which I think he actually organized, and he ended up winning that by some 40 seconds at Daytona in the V8 Supercars. So he's clearly capable in iRacing as well as in the real world. And he is pretty high up. He's in fourth place, but of course he is 5 1,000ths off of the leader in practice. So I would say he is not far off the pace. Of course, we talked to Jellybean, as you deemed him, series organizer. He is also looking pretty spiffy, currently sitting third, with another time within 1,000th of the, or a couple thousandths of the leader. I think he's going to be one to watch for sure. The other drivers that we see kind of up there in the top 5, or top 4 at least, are all right on the same pace. So Niels Langeveld, Maximilian Paul, both definitely going to be quick drivers. There was one other driver whose name I recognize from Real World GT3 racing. That's Indy Dancia, but he hasn't set a lap yet. He is in the session, so hopefully we see him race. Indy, I know from IMSA running the Michelin Pilot Challenge for Mercedes. I believe he also does some European racing in a GT3 Mercedes. So will be interesting to see if he does race where he sorts out, but at the moment he has not set a lap time.
Okay. Bill, let's just go back to you. Interesting, like Tyler just pointed out, if you look at specifically the top 4 times, the top 2 have done a 1:18.16. Third and fourth have both done a 1:18.17. Doesn't get much closer than that. Surely that must bode well, as he hears another crash somewhere. But it must bode well, at least for the top guys in this race.
Yeah, for certain. I'm looking at those times, and actually, I think you got the top 8 guys really have a great chance of being up there all day long if they don't get in any trouble or get bogged down or a mechanical issue. Those are really close times, and of course, this is probably not the, I don't know, I'm not super sure, but probably not the easiest place to navigate. When you make your move, you got to do it. Again, just like Belle Isle, you make a mistake, it's easy to eat concrete here. If you do that, you got a problem on your hands. So it's going to be, I guess you got to, what do they call it, passive aggressive. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but I guess that's kind of what you got to do. I've never been good at it. I guess.
No, you're aggressive.
Yeah, and it really shows because I'm always at the back because I make a mistake on the first lap. It always happens. But anyway, it's really I'm just trying to figure out what to expect here. It's going to be a guess as far as I'm concerned. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. I still think we're going to have
We're on the qualifying.
Practice, yeah.
Okay, whoa! I said, where'd they go? All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going into this in the mindset that I think there's going to be carnage. So if there isn't, all the better.
Just looking at the screen, why do you think that then?
I don't know why.
Yeah. So Gary's pointed out that they've corrected the ability to cut the track so excessively at turn 5, which is the one kind of you're cresting a bit of a hill, really. But the turn 8 one, which is the one I was describing before, is still fair game.
Yeah, and whilst we're sorry, just a good evening to first name I'm going to murder, Peter Valley, Pam J, Marco Lua as well. Marco, someone we know very, very well. So, sorry, Tyler, what was you going to say as we enter qualifying?
Oh, I was just going to say the fun thing about the cut in turn 5 is that it used to be legal in the real world too. I remember in an IndyCar race where Max Chilton, I believe it was, figured out that it was quicker to just completely cut turn 5.
Yeah.
And so he kept doing it, and eventually IndyCar had to be like, hey, we know we didn't say anything about this before, but you have to stop. I think the next year it was officially in the rule book, but for a while there it was a thing that you could get away with. So iRacing a little quicker to jump on it than IndyCar, I guess.
Yeah, this is where me and Clyde sometimes fall out, because in my opinion, if they didn't want you to use that bit of track, they'd put a wall there. They'd put a wall everywhere else. So if they don't want you to drive on it, put a wall in front of it. Dead simple.
Not having that.
No, you're not. Just for some reason you're a cut track fascist.
I am most definitely. Track limit Hitler, I've been called.
Yeah, that was me as well, I think, wasn't it?
So, guys, we're into the 15-minute qualifying session with all cars on track. I suppose there are a couple of drafting areas on this track, Pete. Are the straights quite long enough?
The one these guys are on, you can probably get a bit of an advantage once you get into the top gear, but it's not going to last long. And similarly, going down the start-finish straight, I don't think you get the draft for too long. You set your car up on this track for the twisty, tight turns, very much so. But you will get a benefit. It's just not as going to be as pronounced as other tracks that are synonymous with it, like Monza or Spa or anywhere like that. I don't know what the other guys think, but even the straights have got turns in them, and some of the corners that they claim on the track map for this place is, as Gary pointed out a little earlier on the chat, a very gentle curve rather than a turn. So that was expensive on the front of that Lamborghini. I don't know why I'm saying that. They're all Lamborghinis. So yeah, I don't know that there's going to be too much of a draft. I think you'll pick it up when you've come around that bend on the start-finish straight all the way to turn 1. So there will be some, but not masses.
And Tyler, do you think that draft is prominent enough that, you know, if you have got a car that's say a few tenths or half a second a lap quicker than you can stay with them using that little bit of draft that Pete described?
Yeah, you'll absolutely see it on Shoreline Drive. I don't know if it's enough to keep you with a car, but what makes Long Beach such a great track, in my opinion, is that you do have an excellent passing opportunity into turn 1, because as the lead car, if you're being chased by somebody, you want to hug the kind of inside of that bend past the start-finish line in order to, minimize your distance around the track and set up before the first corner, but somebody can definitely get a toe on you down that straight. And if they pop out, kind of around that bend, they set themselves up for the inside into turn number 1. So it's definitely a compromise, and you will definitely see that draft utilized to make passes. As you said, it's not going to be enough to probably keep you with a car who is quicker than you, because shoreline drive is really the only place you'll see it. That sort of back straight, it won't have a distinct effect. You'll maybe just have to brake a little earlier into what is that, turn 8, turn 9?
Turn 9, I think.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll have too pronounced an effect as far as racing, as far as sticking with somebody goes, but for overtaking, you'll definitely see it.
Okay, so we've seen a few cars having issues at the moment. Where are we now? We are 5 minutes in, so we've got 10 minutes left of this qualifying session. Evening to Jerome on the chat. Good to have you with us. I think as well, Bill, I think one of the reasons I like street circuits, and especially with an hour-long race, it's one of those tracks where, the leader could be, I'm not saying they will because we've seen how close the times are, but the leader could be 15, 20, 30 seconds up the road. But unless you've got 110% concentration around this track, it's so easy to make a mistake and things can change in a hurry.
Most definitely. It's a kind of what would you call it? A self-contained kind of place. You have no place to go. You got no escape route per se. So it does make it difficult. And naturally, like you mentioned, if the leader is being pursued very hardly and driving in the mirror rather than his own race, he could definitely make a mistake. Another thing I noticed about Long Beach that I wasn't aware of, that they have different surfaces here too. I see blacktop and I see concrete here too, kind of similar to Sebring, but I'm sure it's much smoother than Sebring. But that could have an effect on tire wear as well. Well, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, the concrete can be like a cheese grater, depending what kind of grit it's got. And of course, the blacktop, if it's hot, going to affect traction. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't know. I think the front guys, hopefully they're smart enough that they won't push too hard and kind of stay together, and it could be really interesting toward the end. And we might have some dark horses too. You never know.
Yeah. Obviously, at the moment, positions are changing all the time. We're just about halfway into this, and I'm going to start murdering names already. So Sam Coutert currently sits on provisional pole with Maximilian Paul second and Marco Bortolotti in third. But Mirko was first just before I blinked, and obviously dropped straight down to third. So some really, really competitive times, and it's really, really close at the top, like we saw in the practice session.
Yeah, I noticed. Sorry, I noticed.
So, go on, Bill. Sorry.
I noticed that the gentleman that was up on the top for the longest time, Nils Langeville, is now dropped to 10th. So there's a lot of people really scrambling to get up towards the front.
Certainly tumbling there. Evening to Erwin on the chat. I did have a question for Tyler, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, here it is. So, street circuit, you would guess pole position is going to be not vital, but a definite bonus.
For sure. In an hour race, it's less important, as it would be in a sprint race, because, as I mentioned, turn 1 is a great passing opportunity, but it's pretty much the only one. You're not going to make a move. I suppose you could sort of into turn 8 here, but it is a pretty, or turn 9 rather, but it is a pretty fast corner, and it's very difficult to go too wide. Plus, it puts you on the outside for turn 10, and you might have to force it too wide into the hairpin, which nobody really wants to do. So definitely a plus to start on pole. I think there will be time for things to shake out and battles to happen. So I don't know that we'll see a kind of lights to flag leader with nobody able to get by just because it's a street circuit. In addition, we're probably going to see some lap traffic here before the end of this race. You know, the field is incredibly tight, but it's huge too. So you're going to see guys who are not slow, but just by virtue of being kind of at the back of this incredibly tight, large field, are going to get caught by the leaders before the end of this.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up with Pete and say, you know, that there is most definitely going to be lap traffic. There is going to be different pit strategies. And you know, it is so easy to crash around here. I get that feeling that we're going to come away from here probably not knowing who the championship favourites are, because if they pit early, come out in traffic, don't have a particularly good qualifying session, it's quite easy for somebody here to be involved in somebody else's accident and not take away as many points as they should have done, and then us think that they're, you know, not one of the favourites for the championship. That was
Pete,
to you, Pete.
Pete's not here at the moment.
Stepped out for a minute.
Pete's gone for a poo. So that question to you then, you know, do you think we'll learn anything from this race with regards to who's going to be top of the pile at the end of the season?
Well, I'll jump in there. I don't really think so. You know, they're on a pretty tight, even though it's a wide open kind of street circuit, they're on a tight road course. And, you know, like you said, there's a lot of chances to be a victim of circumstance here, like getting caught in somebody else's problems, or, you know, you create one of your own. And granted, it can happen on a fixed circuit as well, but I think you got a little better chance. I think that's a little more revealing than a street circuit is. You got to be pretty smart to run a street circuit and very careful. And like you said, you can be the greatest guy, the most cautious, and get caught up in some, you know, idiotic move by somebody. We've seen it happen in real life even. So I don't think it's a good judge to who's the champion.
And Tyler, again, you know, a street course, if you've got anything lacking in your talent locker, a street course will throw that out in the open for everybody to see.
For sure, and not only that, but if you've got anything lacking in your practice locker, I guess, if you haven't put in the time to prepare around here, it's going to show for sure. You know, you need to know where the walls are. In the braking zone that we've just seen those cars go through, the wall kind of sticks out at a point before it opens back up. And, you know, the first couple times, I don't think the tech track wall was like that, because the first couple times I went around there, I found myself clipping that kind of outcropping of the wall. So obviously they did have almost an hour of practice before this in order to kind of find those limits, but certainly you're going to see the guys who put in that kind of extra time practicing on this track in this car are going to find that benefit for sure.
Yeah, and you know, there's different ways, like you say, of practicing and different ways of finding out where the walls are. Pete usually tends to hit all of them to find out where they are. So, you're back, are you?
Yeah.
Did you have a nice poo?
It was number one, not number two.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
That's too much information. Okay.
Well, it did ask.
Right, guys. So, you know, normally I would ask you to pick a winner, but I don't think we really know enough about the drivers for me to put you under that sort of pressure. Interesting that the top three hasn't changed in the last 6 or so minutes. Just looking at the times, and yeah, they are so close. Top 18 are within a second of each other at the moment. Still seeing lots of people hitting walls.
I think anybody starting from pit lane has got as good a chance as the pole man to win this one, because you might be out of the trouble, if nothing else. I think if it goes, they don't have race control, do they? So they're not going to be throwing full course yellows or anything like that. So you might end up with a big pile of broken Lamborghinis. It's all to be seen yet.
There could certainly be a lot of spare parts laying around the track, I suppose.
That was good.
That was very close, wasn't it? So
I thought he was trying to take his rear quarter off there.
Yeah, we're literally coming to the end of qualifying now.
There's a couple of guys still on reasonable laps, or rather reasonable sector times. But I don't see anybody lighting up the screen completely.
No, I'm seeing green sectors, but I'm not seeing anything purple. Track temperature is currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not a, we've seen the 120 degree tracks, haven't we, where
that's about perfect, really.
Your grip just disappears. So
it's interesting looking at just the amount of laps people have done in qualifying, because our current provisional pole sitter, Sam Kuitert, has just done a 6th lap, which is pretty much the least of anybody up there. I see one driver, Sam Holt, who's just finishing or on his 6th lap now. But for instance, Maximilian Paul in 2nd did 10, Mirko Bortolotti did 8, Danny Kroos did 11. So a lot of drivers trying, lap after lap to put in a time to top Sam, and they can't do it.
Yeah, but did he do it one-handed? That's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah,
that I don't know.
He's on the track. Provisional pole man is on track at the moment. He's at 2 green sectors and a yellow. Just waiting to see what he can pop through this last sector. And did he go any quicker? He's coming to the pits.
When Tyler mentioned that, I said, "What happened to him? He got that lap time." He said, "That's it. Into the pits I go."
Yeah, so I think we've got, is there one car left on track?
Eric Verlaine.
And there you go. So that will be qualifying over. And let's have a look.
What is that? SeaWorld we're looking at? What is that?
It's a big fountain on turn 3.
Oh yeah, fountain now, but there was looked like a
There's an aquarium there as well, I believe.
That always looks like a good old British roundabout to me.
Yeah, 3/4 of one.
Right, guys, it's time to murder some names.
Okay, shall I give it a go?
Go on then.
Yeah.
So your pole man for your first race will be Sam Kuitert. That's butchered, isn't it? Straight away. For Racecraft Esports. Maximilian Paul will go off 2nd. Mirko Bortolotti will go off 3rd. Both of those are for Gaz X Team Racing and Pink, not in that order. Perry Pinarken. There we go. I did it eventually. We should have got Sam to do that one. We'll go off 4th. Danny Kroos off 5th. 6th will be Jort Vijk Van. 7th will be Ricardo Romkema Ricci. 8th will be Tom Voss. Can do that one. 9th will be Sam Holt. 10th will be Jelly Bean, Jill Beelan. 11th will be Andrew Van Dalen. And 12th will be Will Egby.
Okay, so the cars are still gridding.
13th is David Plasman, ahead of Niels Langeveld in 14th. Peter De Huys in 15th, ahead of Niels Koester. Jeffrey Kolnol in 17th, ahead of, Maciej Krolikowski.
Wow.
Jensen DeLew in 19th, ahead of Jeroen Vatlet. Marvin Amants in 21st, ahead of Flo Dams. Justin Niger in 23rd ahead of Kaz Brinkhuizen.
Okay, and in 25th we have Elvis Bonello, 26th Richard Bukima, 27th Eric Vallee, then Perry Oosterveer, Stefan van der Velde, Julian Rambeau, Ben Edelman, Quinton Floor, Simon van Dijk, Shay van Worken, David Omisi, Davy Rietzma, Gianni van der Kratz, Indy Jonte, Niels Testers, and Charles Volsman, and we are green.
Certainly are.
A short pace lap here, or not even a pace lap,
is,
pace
isn't
few
it?
corners.
There's a lot of Lamborghinis in one spot. Wow.
Yeah, they are spread out. There's quite a gap further back. I think they was where
That's
they
the
got
group that was in the hairpin, I think,
Yeah.
when the green
What is the
happened.
wall there?
Oh, this is
Get
little
there.
ball around.
Oh, baby.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Track.
No, there's a gap. There's a gap. That's it.
He's gonna drive through the fountain.
Okay.
He's like camouflaging there, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's,
Wow.
We need a policeman.
Yeah.
Policeman.
There was another blue on blue there.
And there as well, I think.
there was one of the Kart Academy cars. I think that was Jort van Wijk, who was spun, that kind of started all that, set all that off, because he's dropped 15 spots to 21st now.
Yeah, the top three haven't changed.
Somebody take a look there. That was, I believe that was Sam Holt.
Yeah, you get back to about 27th place, and then there's 10 seconds back to the next car. And that must be where the bottleneck was at the mountain.
Yeah.
That's Flo Dams getting passed by Jort van Wijk, who's trying to make up ground after his spin.
Yeah, hopefully we get lap one out of the way and things will calm down a little bit.
Yeah, we were all wrong because it didn't happen at the hairpin, it happened at the fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like one car checked up because they hit the wall on the left-hand side, and that kind of stacked people up, and I saw somebody get a nudge just kind of right through the middle of the fountain. They spun, then another car spun, and that was job done, track blocked.
Yeah, he kind of lifted the back end of the car up, didn't he? Here from the broadcast camera view.
We have a replay here. Simon Van Dijk. Whoa. That could have left a mark. Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
that's the stack up into the roundabout, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Kind of after it had already cleared. There were some cars really far back at the start there.
And did you notice in the honor of the British Isles, I went around the correct way?
Indeed,
Yeah, all good.
Oh, this is the very start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Three
So there was a
wide.
car.
Three wide there. So one of these black cars hit the wall and he was slow.
Ah, the yellow
Yeah, and
guy
then it
got
was
into
one
the
of
back
the-
of that.
I think it was one of the next level cars that spun
It was, yep.
Jort.
Like
I agree.
Trying to drive underneath one of the cars.
This will be a good view.
I'm on board with Peter Den Hose.
Yeah, not very good for him, but
See the one that went flowers? No.
Yeah, there's a funny bit behind that. One of those purple cars sees them all stacked up on the left-hand side, goes to the right-hand side, there's another stack up.
yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
None shall pass.
Sam.
Billy Bean's round.
Billy Bean has flopped at 180.
Ooh, that's a tough spot too. I think that's between turns 4 and 5. Sort of. Oh no, he's after the fountain.
Looks like he's going to try to complete the lap backwards.
Yep.
Oh, maybe he's lost it all by himself.
Yeah. On his own.
He was still out of shape from the exit of the fountain.
Yeah.
Now he's.
Look at that! Wow.
That's inventive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than getting hit.
Well, yeah, he's not going to be able to do a kind of spin turn with the traction control in these cars, so that's probably actually the safest way to do that. Just wait till everyone's passed and back out into turn 5.
Exactly.
So this is Maximilian Paul chasing down Sam Coitert.
He's working on him. He's taking a look.
He's certainly having a very long look.
And there's his picture with the inset.
was very happy, didn't he?
Very
He got
young.
paid
too.
that day.
Yeah,
Kinda tap- they
interestingly,
kinda-
Danny Crows has gone with them as well.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
There's another next level car, I believe.
That's hairpin.
Yeah, welcome to the
That's-
hairpin.
The airborne racing car. No, that was the car that got kind of caught up in it. Does he get a Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Andrew Van Dalen was trying to make the pass happen on the kind of orange and white car, and
Yeah.
the green and black car was an innocent bystander there. Oh, there's more contact.
Yeah, that's not good.
Quentin Floor.
Yeah, he got underneath the car. That,
Did,
I don't
didn't
know.
he?
what-
Yeah. Actually lifted him up in the air.
Yep.
Max Paul is on the screen again, trying to chase down. Who was it? Sam Cougar.
Sure, I'd like to do the protest reviews.
Could take a while.
Yeah, I think it's a 37.5-hour a week job.
Yeah. I know a lot of series rule out lap 1 incidents as far as protest reviews,
Yeah.
including in the real world, just because, you know, it's assumed that with cars in close quarters, stuff like that's going to happen. But some of these we've seen have not been lap 1 close quarters racing, just a, you know, contact
What's going on
happening.
here?
Pass
Neil's
in-
crossing
Whoa.
there.
That was
Hairpin.
nice.
Does he get it done? He hit the wall on the way out, I
A little
think.
bit.
He did.
Yeah.
That's just that's an assist to turning, though. I find.
Davey Wrightsman from the Netherlands.
Nikolai on the chat is.
dear.
Whoa! Whoa!
What happened
Sure that.
there? Wow.
Sure, that second car could have applied the brake at some point, but they might.
There was a proper wrecked Lamborghini there.
yeah. Not one bit of it would work.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Just watched it on the broadcast. It's brutal. So yeah.
Top 3 still the same.
And still within a second, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Danny Crows, who was with them, according to my timing screen, isn't with them anymore.
He's dropped about half a second, I think, to that leading pack.
Yeah.
Kind of in his own little world, though. He doesn't have much of a challenge from behind, so hopefully,
No, very true. Very
if
true.
they get battling, he can get right back on him. And it looks like he is pretty much right there again.
He's dropped a little bit, but
And like
Trying to-
Tyler just said, he's back with him straight away.
trying to scorch him with his
Another
turn
pass
place.
trying here into the
Here's
fountain.
on Marvin Amonsa, I think, there. And Marvin got quite sideways into turn number 1 and did well to keep it off the wall. Got someone doing a bingham back in there.
Yeah, proper strobing in and out, isn't he?
That day glow green is a popular color. Flashy lights.
It's a bit early in the season for the flashy lights, isn't it?
It's early in any season, at any point.
Well, you might as well get out of the way now.
Yeah.
And that orange and white car you were referring to before, Tyler. It appears that they have eyelashes on that headlights. Maybe I'm seeing things, but it was like.
I didn't catch it, but it's possible.
Marvin
I think it's actually the damage, Bill.
It could be, yeah, it could
I
be.
honestly do think it is. I think it's the damage.
Battle's pretty much everywhere, as you'd expect, with some 40 cars on the track. A couple of teammates going at it here.
Yeah.
I think in the middle of this pack, there's quite a lot of aggressive driving right now.
Just in the middle.
Maybe towards the back and the front.
I'll tell you, the three guys up front are having a really nice little battle out there. I don't think they're pushing real hard. I think they're just kind of trying to stay together right now.
Yeah, and they are now dropping Danny Crows again.
Huh.
Yeah, you did have, by virtue of kind of the incidents we saw, a lot of drivers sort of out of position, I think, in the grid, so which may be part of the aggressive driving we're seeing, but at the front they seem very even in pace. So
Yeah,
there's
very
not
true.
as much room for, you know, crazy lunges and attempts at overtaking maneuvers because they're all right there or thereabouts.
And the leaders are not actually that far from the first couple of back markers.
No, not really. A couple seconds at the most.
It's not too surprising either, given the hold-ups we saw on lap 1.
That's
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we're only 9.5 minutes in though.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell these guys it's an hour race.
Well, you know, Pete, when you're behind the wheel and really struggling or trying to make a move on somebody, you kind of forget about those things at times.
And to be fair, you know, we've seen ourselves in leagues that we do. The first race can be a bit of a cluster. And you know, as an admin of a league, you know, you end up with 15, 20 protests. And then, you know, as you get a bit further into the season, things calm down. Drivers get to know, you know, we don't know how much these drivers have raced each other. But again, you know, we know from our leagues that, you know, you get to learn, don't you, how to race other drivers, who you need to be careful around, who you can take liberties with. And it's all part of league racing, which is why league racing is so good.
Yeah, and it's a new car, a new track. It's almost a lethal combination. It's a street circuit with concrete walls around it. So those sort of incidents are going to be expected, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So, boy, almost got wall that time. Went a little wide. That's Boss.
Yeah, I think a lot of the incidents too that we've seen are incidents that were bigger than they would have been at a track like Spa with lots of runoffs and cars that go around.
Sure.
Yeah, the cars involved would have just disappeared off to the side of the track, wouldn't they, rather than getting in everybody's way.
If you remember that. Oh,
Jelly Bean, come on.
Jelly Bean.
I have to admit I did that a couple of times in practice as well, because you kind of go over that bump there and the rears kick out from under you, and then the wall comes up to greet you right away.
Yeah. I was going to say, there was a car that didn't exactly go off the track, but it did try and hide in those flowers. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Almost the
perfectly
same color, too.
camouflaged.
Yeah.
There was one IndyCar race, I think it was, that someone went kind of like up and through the flowers. I forget what year it was or who it was, but it was fairly recently.
I'm going to have a look for that.
I don't remember that.
I mean, this is a blast of a track, isn't it? It's utterly enjoyable to drive. I don't know how enjoyable it is when you need 6 sets of eyes in order to spot everybody around you.
It's a good part.
It was an over and under, yeah.
And that's the tough part about the hairpin.
Whoa!
Synchronized spinning for a
Joey Chitwood Thrill Show.
I don't think Sam Holt should have had his car just there at that point. He should have realised that door was shut.
Yeah, that was a back out job. It should have been.
Oh, Jesus. Good Lord.
Spun round here.
Man, I hold my breath every time I see someone come in tight or wide. I mean, woof.
Yeah, so like I was saying before the race, you do kind of get that run, but Sam definitely did not have the space to make that move happen.
No, the 211 was always going to take the racing line through that corner. You can see it a mile off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was half a send. If you're gonna send it, send it.
Yeah, you need to set that up better, get a better run out of the hairpin to make that happen. That move.
But it's all a learning curve for these guys at the minute, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And we may already have said this, but evening to Kevin Vimont on the chat and Nikolai Bogatyrev. Nice to see you guys following along.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Somebody driving backwards there.
Yeah. Running on the track.
Somebody have a word with him about
there we go.
his head's wrong.
The problem is, you know, it was fine when Yella Beelan was doing this earlier on in the race because there was a nice big gap between the back of the field and the front, but now everyone's pretty spaced out around this track. You're going to be hard pressed to find a gap to get turned around.
You could sit there forever, couldn't
Whoop.
you?
Two times. One in one wall, one in the other wall.
Fortunately, he was right by the pit entry.
And he decided to come in.
these two have dropped Bortolotti off of the lead battle.
They have, haven't they? By what, a couple of seconds?
Yeah.
And that was pretty quick as well. So has a back marker got in the way of this or something like that?
I'm
I
not.
don't know if we have the battle delta on that one.
I don't
But
think they've actually got to the back markers yet. I think the back markers keep changing,
Right.
or pitting, or crashing.
yeah, or all of the above.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Does seem like Paul is the quicker of the cars at this point. He's been able to get right up on the back of Sam, but he has not been able to make the move happen because even if he is a little bit quicker, they're still pretty close on pace.
yeah. Well, there's your first back marker. You can just see in the distance. I think that's David Omisi.
Right. Okay. It is David Amisi.
Oh, was he involved in the hairpin accident, wasn't he, with the orange vehicle?
He could have been. His car doesn't look terribly banged up, although the rear wing's a bit wonky, but there you
I
go.
think it would be easier to name who wasn't involved in that.
Yeah, well, the two at the front.
No, I'm talking about the sandwich
The one at the
I think.
hairpin with the,
the hairpin.
overtaking maneuver. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Bill. Unless there's another similarly liveried
Could be,
car.
could be, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's meant that Mirko Bortolotti has now fallen back towards Danny Crowes.
Yeah, and this is another tricky thing here for the leaders, or not for the leaders, but for the back markers. Is it's a difficult track to get out of the way, and a difficult track to overtake on. So you've got to try not to crash, whilst trying to let the leaders through.
Yeah, so he's the guinea pig for the race, isn't he? So what's he going to do? He's going to get out of the way or try to?
Or is he? Yeah.
Yeah,
He did,
yeah.
nice job.
Yeah, that's the place to do it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they caught him just at the right place, didn't they?
And I always find that on these road tracks, because I get overtaken a lot and lapped a lot, once you let the first of the cars lap you, you're absolutely going to get mugged all the way around because
Yeah, you get
it's a
trained.
constant stream of people lapping you. These four have been together for about 4 or 5 laps now.
Yeah, this is a good little midfield battle. This.
Yeah, so this is Mashesh, Kolikovsky. Who else have we got?
This is 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, isn't it?
Nils Langeveld.
Jensen de Liu and Joran Vatlet, I think that is. Yep. We're killing your names, guys. If you want to tell us how to pronounce them properly, then let us know.
Apologies, really. We're sorry.
And I'd love to say we'd get better at them, but we won't.
No. Well, look at that. He finally got Mr. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, boy.
There was a touch there.
Oh,
by
and the
Tom
car
Brock.
behind followed him in.
And how easy is that to do?
Dead easy. First hand knowledge of that. Oh, dear.
Yeah, that was Ricardo who nosed it in behind him.
Oh, you gave him a bang in the back, too. Here
You
you go.
won't appreciate that. It has to be said. That was Ricardo, was it?
Want
Yeah.
some black paint on the back of your beautiful yellow Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Here's a replay.
Oosh.
Oh, boy.
No, that's different. Yeah.
That's the same
No,
guy.
No, it was
Ricardo,
we
yeah.
saw him in the background of the I think it was David Plasman who just barely missed the wall, or Tom Boss
Yeah,
it was.
that's right.
Yeah,
And then he just got a little bit too
Yeah,
eager
bang,
there.
take that.
Yeah.
yeah. So now this has become a 6-car train.
Yeah, and soon to become a 9 or a 10 car train because there's a few in the distance there. I think it's Marvin, Jeffrey, and Richard. Richard is the one that strobes in and out quite a lot.
Yep.
They're about to join the back of this queue.
And Justin
Yeah.
Measure was
And
there
Justin,
as well.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. So this is going to get very tasty very soon. What was that?
That is a past attempt. He'll see if he completes it into the hairpin. I think Niels Koster had some trouble early on because he's working his way back up. He's down 7
Yeah.
spots from where he started.
These guys are still at it.
And evening to Double R, Romain Brand 2 on the chat.
Kevin can't wait to see us, as in the GT4s and TCRs on Long Beach in week 3.
Oh, I can't wait to do Long Beach.
I can certainly wait to see Pete on Long Beach. A bit of a worry, 45 people watching and only 16 likes. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm no Carol Vorderman, but I know that that number doesn't balance.
Yes, that is a reference that I understand.
Excellent.
Let us know in the chat whose name you want us to murder, and we'll do our best.
There's been a few name homicides already.
Just a few.
Yeah. So I almost made myself laugh then by saying, I wonder what the pit strategy is. But there's going to be a point at which the window opens, and I think...
Well, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just about there now.
Right. So maybe we'll see some people who haven't yet pitted because they haven't needed to yet. Getting some top up of fuel, possibly, or trying to get out of some busy traffic and get some free track somewhere.
I was going to say, I think the pit window opens when you have too much damage to continue.
Yeah.
There you go.
It does seem like...
3 wheels on my wagon.
Exactly.
As many as that.
Yeah, so Yaron is the first car in and out. Well, he's not out yet, but he's on his way. There he goes. And he looks like he's going to come out right in front of the leaders, I think.
Now, did you see Maximilian Paul stutter coming on the hairpin there? He darn near stopped. I don't know what that happened.
I've been in the wrong gear.
Oh, maybe.
It's possible. You can also, if you catch too much of the apex curbing there, it'll lift your tires up and you'll get a big kick at traction control, which can definitely slow
You know what?
your
I think
progress
that's
on
what
exit.
happened because he was way inside there. You're probably right.
Somebody's given us a thumbs down. We will find you and you will wake up next to a horse's head.
Or you might not even wake up. Your choice.
Yeah. We know Russian people. We do, actually.
Do we?
Nikolai.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, he's Russian. I bet he's got some plutonium in his kitchen. In a jar.
You think he's going to the set of Back to the Future or something?
Plasman and Voss are at it again.
Yeah, they've come back together. This lot are still together.
All of them.
All of them. And they're attracting more friends as the laps go by.
Ricardo's jumped Kulikowski, who he gave the nudge to in the fountain.
That's right.
He looks like he wants to get by Niels Langeveld as well.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, don't
That's
stop
not the
there.
place to do that.
That is actually preferable to trying to go slowly through the inside of the hairpin. I think that's not
Muscle
the
your way
worst thing
through
you
there.
can
The
do.
hell with them.
That's a battered car.
Ideally, you'd be a bit further off the racing, or farther from the racing line than that. But it's not the worst idea in the world from David and Lucy there.
David, don't stop. No, they think they're cool. Just muscle your way through there, man.
Oh, that's the main cause of it.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Maybe.
I didn't know about that at the time.
Just heard another crash.
I did, but I think it's on the replay. So
Right.
yeah.
Right, discs are glowing.
Someone's saying we should call Ricardo Triple R.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
a double R and a triple R.
Yeah, and a double R.
What?
A triple A. Hang on, what did you say?
I said we've got a double R and a triple R, and you went and a double R.
I meant a triple A.
We've got a double P as well.
Yes, I was going to suggest that because I can't pronounce Perry's surname. Is it Perry?
Oh, that was teammates.
No. Blue on blue.
That was Ricardo and
Yeah, that's
Jensen
Jensen
DeLew coming together.
Yeah.
A tough place
how
to be
you-
bogged down facing
yeah.
the wrong way.
You can't really see round that corner, can you? It's
No.
just on your relative. Just
What happened here?
eyes
So the
glued.
yellow car. dove
Yeah.
inside.
He's tried the
Under.
over-under, hasn't
Yep.
he?
Exactly.
Not realising his teammate was coming through tight.
So the yellow car did a really good overtake, in my opinion.
Here it is on board.
Bit of a block overtake, but he's done it.
Yeah, you need the other driver to kind of give you the position by exit to make that overtake work, because they could very easily try and keep it around the outside, and then you both end up in the wall blocking the track. But you can make it work, but it definitely requires the driver being overtaken to play around.
So is he going to protest his teammate? Because
Yeah.
if that was me and Clyde, I definitely would.
I mean, it wasn't really his teammate's fault, was it? In fairness.
No, not even nearly.
Klossman and Boz remind you of something. How about Shaw and Stan?
Yeah.
No matter what series you go into, there always seems to be a group like that, isn't there?
Jeffrey Coleman's in the pits.
It's happened to my YouTube, but I've just got a grey screen.
No, mine's still running. So
Yeah,
it must
mine's
be
right.
your end.
Mine's
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Oh, it's back now.
So 26 minutes in, your current top 5 are Sam Keitert, Sam. What? Whoa, hang on. What is going on with Maximilian Paul is in second. Mirko Bortolotti is in third. Danny Crows is in fourth, and Perry
Double P.
Pinakin, I'm going to say.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Do you say the J? Don't you say the
Not
J?
bad, Tyler, not bad.
Come
Thank
on,
you. Thank
somebody
you,
help
Sam.
us out.
Not often I get a compliment from Sam.
You know,
I think that's Pijnaken for my old Dutch course, but not 100% sure.
So Perry Heineken then.
you know, Klossman and Boz, the guys that are going at each other, they're in 6th and 7th place. I didn't realize they were that far up. Wow, good.
Yeah, a bit of a ways off the lead. And the lead battle has split up, working their way through traffic as well.
Yeah.
Maximilian Paul's now 2.5 seconds off Sam Coiter.
And we're focused on Simon Van Dyke, who is
A
21st place.
remarkably untouched Lamborghini. Even the
Yes.
headlights work.
His teammate a couple spots in front of him doesn't look as first
Obviously,
hand.
you must be paying for this. Simon, because you're being very good.
There's not going to be very many clean Lamborghinis, is there, at the end?
No, I mean, these road tracks, these street tracks, it invariably ends up like this. I mean, everybody's trying very hard, and it's a brand new street circuit.
Mirko's
sorry,
in.
Pete. Sorry, Pete.
Oh, yeah,
First
sorry,
one of the
yep.
top boys is in the pit. Mirko has blinked first.
And we're on lap 21.
If he can get out ahead, well, no, he probably won't. I was going to say if he can get out ahead of the Plasma Ghost battle, he'd have some nice, clear track out of the pits. I suppose if he gets out ahead of Langeveld and that train behind him, he might as well, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. No, he's still stopped. Now he's rolling.
So what time was that then? I've not got the pit times on my
I can tell you in a second. It was 15.3 seconds stopped, which seems right in line with everybody else who's made a stop already. The shortest stop was Jeroen Vatlet, who was stopped for 14.7 seconds. Everybody else is kind of in the 15 range, so
Okay.
seems on par. He does have some clear track in front of him.
And Mirko also has a very stylish inset picture. If you see it the next time.
It's the standard sports car factory driver Instagram picture, I think. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, with the shade, mirror shades on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very sexy Mirko. You're gonna have Clyde very horny for the rest of the
I
night.
already am.
Are you really? Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And there's Triple R in a cart.
Absolutely. In a race car.
So, what are the top two going to do? They haven't pitted this lap, so it looks like they're not that worried about covering it off.
Well, it's not a tire stop, so there's not really much to be gained by an undercut. Except for, as we've seen, Mirko has come out in clean track. Whereas if the leaders still have some lap traffic in front of them, they're going to be slower because of that. So
Another blue on blue.
I don't have a good sense of where the lap traffic is around the race leaders, but they probably will want to stay out. Thank you for the track map. Where's this?
Sam to the rescue.
There he is, just out of the hairpin. So he does have some lap traffic, so it may be to their benefit to make an early pit stop, but we've seen both Sam and Maximilian stay out this time around. Mirko also has some lap traffic, so he's not totally in clear air anymore. But he does have a ways before he gets to anyone he would have to battle for position who would put up more of a fight.
There's still plenty of battling going on.
Yeah, we've got another strobing car in front of Elvis.
It must be fun on a road, on a street circuit, huh? Oh.
Have you seen the number? Oh, what number is he? He's 20th. The number 83, Eric Verlay, I'm calling him, has he's trying some prototype aero on the front of his Lamborghini.
I think I've already seen this one. Yeah.
If you see it from above, you can see how pronounced it is.
Yeah. It's proper caved in, isn't it?
It's like a V. It's like you've driven into a lamppost.
Yeah, that's class. Oh, no. Ooh.
Wow.
That was his teammate behind him, Simon Van Dijk, who I said had an untouched car. He's just touched it.
A side slap into the tire bundle there.
Yeah.
There's another one with the aerodynamics too. Plasma looks like he's got one. Plasma.
Yeah, these two, I think them two are slowing each other down because Sam Holt is reeling them in.
Yeah, he's catching them. This is Triple R still trying to pass Niels Langeveld.
Oh, and who's that just come out of the pits into that battle?
I don't know, but did he cut through the red line? 'Cause don't you get a penalty if you cut over that line? You know, the pit exit line?
Yeah.
I think that's Vanilla.
Yeah, I think he is probably a lap down.
Right.
Yeah, he's a lap down in 27th place, I think it says here.
Slow down on the inside there. Or is that someone just getting out of the way because they're getting lapped?
Probably scraping the wall for you.
Stefan
There he goes.
Van der Velde, where's he? He is a lap down, yes. So he's just keeping out of the way, so good lad.
Triple R from the Kart Academy.
Yeah. He's desperate to get past Niels Langeveld. I think he's going to do it soon. I think Tyler's gone to ask his mum if he can play out for longer.
What's that? I just got back. Mom said yes.
That was hilarious.
That's funny.
Oh, dear.
What question did I miss?
Pete wanted to know if you were asking Mom whether you could have more hours to play.
Oh, for sure. She's a very nice lady. She said I could have a few more minutes.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. That I was going to say that Lamborghini. That would be silly. Eric Verlag seems to have a very hard to control Lamborghini right now.
Yeah, really.
He might be. He might be one of those who used his tires up pretty early.
Yeah.
Don't think it'll be to the point where he'll need to pit, but it'll certainly be. Oh dear!
Wow.
That was
a heavy
lick.
impact. Wow.
The nice thing is that the tire barriers on iRacing do actually give less damage than the concrete walls, and he managed to find one of the few not concrete walls around this track.
Not the ones I've found. I've found rubber tires that are made of concrete.
Well, when you hit them at, Mach 2,
Quick stop.
he hit the inside wall first.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh dear. That's expensive.
It's tough because you have to take that corner as close to the apex wall as possible to get the good run onto the straight, but with a car in front of you, you can't really see it. As we see, here's Mirko
a car that's
after his stop.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Geez.
Wow. Oh, he's got the Bingham in front of him. The Bingham.
Yeah, that's not going to help him make up ground on this undercut here.
Quick.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
I don't know.
Where is it? Oh,
Hope it doesn't appear.
God.
Jeez. Yeah, he'll be losing time. Hand over fist here.
That's an awful thing when that happens.
And he's been kind of matching the leader's pace, just looking at
These two
the last lap time.
This is Eric Verlag and Simon Van Dijk.
So I say that Sam Kuiter just set his fastest lap of the race last time around. So his tire's definitely still working all right.
And that is a very, very fast time when you look at what everybody else is doing.
For sure.
A 118.4, which is basically a qualifying lap.
Mirko is not happy about being held up here.
Well,
in fairness, I think that is somewhat deserved flashy lights there. With the car blinking, you got to let them know they got to get out of the way. Since they don't have voice chat in this race, it is turned off for everybody. You got to let them know somehow you're coming through.
Yeah, I am sympathetic to the flashy lighty for that instance only. I will make that very clear.
I'm with you, Pete.
Yeah.
Voss is into the pits, as is Heineken.
Oh, they came in together, huh? Oh, boy.
Harry Heineken in to repair his damage.
So that was 5th and 7th place before the stops. They have come out behind Mirko, so that has
Harry Heineken?
So looking at the fact that cars coming out with damage still on, they don't have any free repair then.
It does seem that way, yeah. And looking at pit stop times, everyone's still pretty much the same window. Those two both in the mid 15 seconds stopped in the box.
Danny Crows is currently the... No, he's not. It's my SDK timing screen's gone bonkers again.
So when are these leaders going to pit?
I don't know, but if you're Sam Kuiter, it's not going to make much difference if he can keep setting the lap times he is. He is rapidly leaving the rest of this field, although that's not going to help getting held up there.
Not.
I think that is Sam in the Magnus liveried car.
Yeah, little flash of the lights there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on board with him right now.
Yeah, I'll have to see what this lap time comes across as. But with the times he's been setting,
in
the pits.
Yeah, so
there you go.
He was getting held up too much, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, and behind him, Paul as well is in.
Danny Crows, I think, is going to carry on.
Yes, he is. Yep. So I'll watch their stopped in the box time here. See how it compares to Mirko's.
The paint job on Peter de Huys, if that's how you say his name, at that car with the grey and the orange, that's very stylish.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of digital camouflage.
So it's a long stop for Kuiter. Pretty good for Paul. Kuiter was about a second and a half longer than Bortolotti and a second and a bit longer than Maximilian Paul, but he does maintain his lead. He had built up a pretty good gap. Now where is Mirko in all this?
Mirko is behind Maximilian Paul at the minute.
Yeah, so the early pit stop did not work for Mirko there. Just too much lap traffic, presumably, to make the lap times needed to make an undercut happen.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's a busy track, isn't it?
For sure, it's kind of just luck of the draw.
Yeah, I think the tiny lead that Sam had probably allowed him to put an extra gallon in for safety.
That's true. It's a fair point, yeah. We are past halfway in the race, so definitely they're not filling the tanks all the way.
So is this Sam? Yes, this is Sam in a battle with a car on the same lap as him, even though they are separated by an entire pit stop.
Yeah, Danny Crows and Sam Holt are in.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine we'll see most of the cars who haven't stopped pitting in short order.
Yeah,
but at the
I don't
moment,
think they can go much further.
yeah, and they are in. Yeah, everybody up front is in. So Sam
we
is back.
guessed 40 to 45, didn't we? So
Maximilian is trying to burn out his headlights, flashing at the car in front of him.
Or burn out his retinas.
So Danny Crows has jumped Mirko Bortolotti in the pit stop. I've just seen.
No, he has.
yeah.
That's a bit of a headline, to be fair. Interesting to see how far behind him he is. Ooh, dearie me, slow slide.
Yeah,
And he'd just gotten passed by Voss as well.
Yeah, that's a 4 out of 10 with that one.
Well, he kept it out of the wall, pretty decent considering. That was one of the wider sections, fortunately.
It's 3 teammates lying stern where it was. This is Danny Crows with, Mirko's right on him though.
Yep, they're fairly close together.
That's going to close up pretty quick, I expect.
Sam Holt, sorry, I was just going to say Sam Holt has made up ground in the pit stop as well, because he's jumped both Plasman and Voss. And Jeroen Valet, who was the very first car to pit pretty early on in this race, is currently in 9th, so he's made good gains from that as well.
I was going to ask, with so many turns on the track and so much heavy braking, does that make your brakes less effective or not?
I don't know. It's a fair question.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% convinced that iRacing model that.
No,
Right,
I don't think they do model any sort of brake wear. It'll only matter if, because of the brakes, using the brakes heavily, you wear the tires more. As far as I know, there's no brake heat or brake wear model.
Or degradation or anything, yeah.
Right,
okay.
exactly. Next Level guys having their own little race here for 13th.
And there's another one just up the road there, look.
So there is, yeah. Could make their own sub-series.
Yeah.
The Next Level E-Series, Next Level Racing Series class.
I don't think there's team orders, do you?
Oh, no, there's not.
No, I think,
not the wall.
Oh, they both hit it.
Yeah, I think we've seen more blue on blue with this team, haven't we, than the others?
Well, I don't know the team that's in black, red and grey is, but they've done some damage to each other along the way. This is Mirko Bortolotti tracking down Danny Crows.
Yeah, he wants that third place back, doesn't he?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, Danny Crow's doing a pretty good job keeping him in back of him, too.
He is.
I do like that paint job as well.
I like
Me
the paint
too.
job on the car in front. It looks very existential.
I don't know what that means.
What the hell's that mean?
It means new,
Oh,
Does
Why
it?
didn't you just say new then?
because it's better if you say.
he
Never
spent a lot of
mind.
money for his education, damn
I
it.
did, yeah. It's the only one in existence, existential.
Pete's killed the broadcast.
Yeah, annihilated that one. Right, okay.
And Marvin Amatz with his red nose here on the street. He might secretly be Rudolph or something.
Yeah, I
but
heard that.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Peter de Hughes, I'm going to go with, in that very stylish orange and grey and black camo car. And he's tracking down Flo Dams at the minute with Mashesh Kolikovsky behind, just a little way, but not too far.
Yeah, Flo had a very short pit stop comparatively. Just pretty much a second quicker than anyone else who made a stop. So if anyone is going to be close on fuel, I'd imagine it's Flo.
So he's making a chancer, huh? Yeah.
It seems that way, maybe hoping the race ends a lap earlier than some of the others, or just kind of taking the gamble on a lap of fuel. He's up 12 spots from where he started, so certainly it seems to be working all right for him right now.
And he just didn't get the flow rate right.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Unfortunately, he's here all night, folks.
Of course, the rest of us will be gone, but oh well.
Yeah, so Peter de Hughes tried the overtake there into turn 1, but he was on the wrong side of the victim car, so he was unfortunately the victim.
He's also pushing very hard. The tail was wagging a little bit on his car.
Yeah, all 4 of these green and yellow cars. Which team is this again?
Looks like a parade, doesn't it?
That's next level racing.
Yeah, this is
next
the
level.
next level. Yeah.
There's team orders somewhere, because...
There could be an almighty green and yellow mess soon.
Their colors almost looks like a...
So that was Perry Oosterveer, who's a lap down to this group, I believe. That's why he was backing out of it.
I had one of those, but it involved absinthe.
Tumbleweed Bingham strikes again.
Yeah. I can kill any broadcast at any time. It is crazy bumpy coming out of that hairpin, isn't it?
I've not actually done any laps on this track since it was released properly, but I always remembered the tech track as being bumpy.
Yeah, it's bad out of the hairpin, and it kind of smooths out once you tuck into the right-hand curve on the start-finish straight, which has a name.
Yeah, it's Shoreline Drive.
Shoreline, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bumpy as Detroit for sure, but there are places you have to watch out for, particularly turn 6, I believe it is. Turn 6 and the hairpin both have, it's not so much they have a lot of bumps, but just terribly placed bumps that can really upset your car based on how you run it. A lot of the corners, a lot of the corners too are off-cambered because just by nature of being a street circuit, you have your cambered roads for water dispersal.
Drainage, yeah.
Yep. So it affects a lot of the corners around this track and also makes it pretty bumpy.
I was going to say, I think what Clyde was referring to maybe is, I remember I know it's hard for an old guy like me to remember, but when we ran this tech track, it seemed like the transition of where real streets come together is where you have a problem. That's where you feel those little hoop-de-doos and bumps and stuff.
Yeah, because the complex from turn 9 to kind of the start of the hairpin is just a parking lot.
Exactly.
So it'll be certainly different composition of the roadway there than the exit of the hairpin, which is actual street.
Wow.
There we go.
I can't believe they made it through there.
Flo Dams had a slap on the wall as well.
He did.
Who hasn't at this point, but...
he's pushing hard and his front tyres aren't coping with it at the moment.
You know, another nightmare I remember from this place is going around that fountain, that exit, that inside wall. I must have hit that thing 29 times. Oh my God, coming out of that. Really?
And he only did 15 laps.
I know it.
It's easy to hip check it.
Yeah, my race ended early because I took out your favorite driver, Pete Clyde.
Right. I remember. I didn't laugh at all.
Well, when you did, you didn't have your microphone keyed. That's for sure.
20 cars on the lead lap at the moment.
Which isn't bad actually for a street circuit. With the carnage at the fountain on lap 1, that's pretty good going.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, the pace in this field is incredibly tight. You know, it's not entirely surprising to see that many cars on the lead lap. Of course, you know, 20 cars on the lead lap is still only just half the field or just under it. So it's pretty populated out there, but really a lot of similarly talented drivers who are able to stick with it.
Leader stretched his legs to nearly 3 seconds, but he's got traffic in front of him now.
He's got the stealth car in front of him.
Yeah.
It's been thereabouts since the pit stop. It's kind of fluctuated kind of between 2 1/4, 2 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, I did look and it was 1.7 at one point, but
okay.
Somebody's got an alarm going. What was that?
Yeah, someone's stolen Clyde's car.
Oh, okay.
they can have it.
And in the battle for third, it seems like Danny Kroos puts in a fast lap, and then Mirko puts in a fast lap, and no ground is really gained or lost.
No, and my SDK timing screen has just gone absolutely mad.
I thought that Sam had put a little chart down on the bottom just a few minutes ago about Sam Coulthard over Maximilian Paul, and I thought the gap was closing rather than getting bigger. Maybe I looked at it too much.
Yeah, Tyler's right. At the moment, it's fluctuating between 2.5 and 3 seconds. But say Sam has got, well, you know, obviously he's got traffic. He's going to get traffic all the way round now.
Wow, is that?
I think that's
Tom
Voss.
Tom Voss. See, I've not crashed there yet.
Well, you got a chance now, Pete.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Been far too slow to do that.
Yeah.
So, Sam Holt is got the tractor beam out for Perry Heineken.
No,
They are quite a ways behind the top 4. Sorry, Bill.
No, that's who's backwards? Who's that? That's Triple R.
Triple R.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to spin that with traction control. Let's just reset.
Yeah,
he reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who dropped their Rolex?
It sounded like a pan fell and hit Clyde in the head.
It was a proper Acme moment, wasn't it?
Oh, there was more cars involved.
Good grief.
Youch.
Oh, that's like the M25 on a Monday morning at 8
Come around a blind turn. Oh, there's a car in there. Boom. No, it was either Sam Holt or his teammate that was the gardener at the fountain, wasn't it?
I don't know. They were hiding in the flowers too well. I couldn't see who it was.
Kind of a purple colored car.
Yeah, I think it was Will Egby.
Why does this feel like it could end in tears right here?
Wow, surprise.
I'm still not convinced we've not crashed yet.
Got another chance, Pete.
Ooh.
Oh.
So Flo got a bit out of control there, but he's going to get on him again here, isn't he?
Yeah, that was smart by Flo to not try and do. He wasn't a long kind of pass. The block pass happened in the hairpin, so better to back out and get a run on the shoreline.
Good idea. And
That's
these
not
two have been
a
after for a while.
Jeez.
So this is Sam Holt on Perry Heineken still.
It just shows you how much action we've had. We've literally got 6.5 minutes left.
Wow.
Where did that go?
That was a quick 55 minutes. Wow. Our own Sam, the director, producer, cameraman, is going to be absolutely buzzed after this one.
And this
number of camera angles and changes and stuff.
That's crazy.
It is.
So the battle that we're watching is for 5th, which is high kudos, isn't it? So lots of points.
I'm not surprised, Sam.
So another point of interest as well to keep an eye on is only the top 25 drivers score points. And it's linear from there, so first gets 25 on back to 25th, who gets 1. At the moment, that is Jensen Delu over Elvis Spinello by about 3.5 seconds, and Perry Oosterveer is not far off that either. So all those drivers trying to get that last point-paying position.
Yeah, and you can quite easily drop out of that top 25 with a little accident or maybe a half a gallon of fuel short.
We saw Triple R have his reset. He's now back in 31st and out of the points. He was kind of running around 16, 17.
Yeah, which is a shame because he was doing all right.
When you're between 22 and 25, you're kind of on the bubble there, aren't you? Really?
Yep. And yeah, we mentioned Flo. Dem seemed pretty short or pretty quick in the pit stop, which could mean low on fuel. Same with Jeroen Vatlet. Those two were the quickest. The only drivers really in the 14-second range, as well as Sam Holt, actually. So those will be the ones to keep an eye on. It seems like Sam is pushing pretty hard, so I would imagine he has a handle on his fuel situation. Otherwise, he's given up trying to save.
Something we haven't had on the screen today. Justin Rader, I don't believe.
He's been on a few times as
Danger,
well. Everybody
as part of this battle, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And Max Paul has got that gap down under 2 seconds now.
Right. I think Sam must have hit some traffic because all of those top four have closed in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, they have.
He's down to a 1.9 second lead now.
Here we go. Here we go.
That's
Oh. He swatted the tire bundle a little bit.
Yeah.
That is not a car forward position in there behind them, I don't believe. So
no,
think it is
20
either.
seconds.
Right.
yeah. So he'll be wanting to avoid trouble to stay within the points paying positions. I think these guys are just determined to put on a show for us.
I think that somebody needs to have a word with them and tell them they don't need to all race on the same bit of tarmac.
It's a good job Stacey's not watching because there's a lot of yellow about.
She would not know what to do with this.
What's the one with the all yellow car back there? Is that
Langeveld.
Langeveld, yeah. Who's been with these three for quite a long time. Maybe he's intimidated by the mob culture that they've got going on.
Or maybe he's auditioning to join Next Level.
Yeah, or maybe they've threatened him.
You pick on us all.
If you do real well in this race, we'll add the green to your paint job. When I visited England a couple years ago, staying near Brands Hatch, there were a couple Lamborghinis parked outside my hotel, and I got to tell you, I looked at that thing and it was so low to the ground. I honest to God, the top of that car came up to like my waist. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Well, you're not getting in one unless they build it around you.
Well, I was going to say, an old ham and egger like me wouldn't have a prayer of getting in there. So I'll tell you. Or getting out, for that matter. That'd even be harder.
Getting in will be fine.
Oh, boy.
You need the Ford GT gurney bubble in there.
More than that.
Just expand it around the whole cockpit instead of just the roof.
Ooh, that's close.
Wow.
Call it the Bill bubble.
The Bill bulge.
Oh, something must have happened to Danny Cruz because he had left Mirko.
On him, isn't he? Yeah.
He was some 3 seconds up the road, so something slowed him up.
Mirko found a landmine. Did you see the front of his car pop up there?
Taking just a little bit too much of that curbing.
Yeah. Is that a strobe car in the background?
I think so. I think it's the same strobe car that... Oh, well, that was
blue on blue.
bound to happen.
Actually, John Deere and John Deere.
Oh, it was right in front of the leader, too. I saw Sam in there.
Lamborghini did used to make tractors. That was what they made first.
That's right. That's right, they did.
What happened here? Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
And then the yellow car, whatever he was called, he slipped through and got a couple of positions.
And I think our race leader came up just on the end of that.
Yeah.
Had to slow up just a bit. I don't know how that affected his lead gap. He didn't slow up too much there. But
Well,
you
he's
can
lost
see,
some time. It's down to 1 second.
yeah, you can see Maximilian Paul in the background there.
Yeah, and you can see the leader flashing his lights like a maniac.
I think we might be on the last lap.
I think we are. Don't think
Yeah.
we're going to make it
Oh,
across the
he's-
line.
It's all going on here.
Goodness gracious. So this might be the race right here.
Whoa!
It is. This is it.
Oh, come on.
And Max,
He almost
not
got by him. Wow.
Sam is not happy.
well, I think that might have been a victory flash because he's
Was it?
just got the
Yeah.
And
Oh, look
Mirko
at
was
the
not
state
able
of
to
that.
get back by Danny Crows.
No, he
That
wasn't.
was close for a change on that last corner.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, that was probably one of the most exciting race finishes for the lead I've ever seen.
Wow.
Certainly one that I've commentated.
Oh.
No.
And I was just gonna say props to Maximilian Paul
Oh.
for not doing that because he
Yeah.
had the opportunity to try and nose it up the inside and he
They're
didn't.
the same.
Whereas
he
Sam
wouldn't.
Holt did.
Yeah.
He should have given that position back.
Yeah.
He's going to end up with a protest from the other guy, no doubt.
I get one
So-
from me.
Guess I better not. I'm going to give me my ideas.
So did these two
Nasher
lose
and
any
Hamad.
positions with their spin?
I think they must have. They,
Well, because Langenveld is back behind
yeah,
them.
why?
Yeah. Do you have to make an extra stop or something?
Maybe.
Oh, did that push him over the limit?
Oh,
Oh, what's
that
that?
was weird. That was very strange.
Yeah, very. Oh, this is after the race, is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of bumper cars going on after the race.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't incur penalties for incident points.
That's right. You got to be careful of that.
Oh, do you think anybody got a drive-through for any incident points? We didn't look at that really, did we?
Oh, that's looks like that's what happened to Niels, or he underfueled it.
Wow.
I can't see incidents because I'm only on watch.
It's not showing me incidents either. Yeah.
No.
I think it was a drive-through, but
Yeah,
I
he's
could
coming
be
through.
wrong.
Let's see where he goes.
Through some pit boxes, but
He's
he's
still
not
coming
stopping.
through.
The way that his car is damaged at the front, from the side it looks like a Lamborghini Countach 5000.
Yeah.
He is going
you're
back
right.
out. That was a drive-through. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that incident with those two next level cars pushed him over the
Over 15.
15-point
Yep.
limit.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd go with that.
And there you've got people that have finished the race, but the leader will just pass through, and he has not finished. This is why he's still racing. And all those dudes they finish the race.
Yeah.
All
Right.
those dudes have finished the race, and he's trying to finish his one.
He's gonna have 30 points if he's not careful. Where he's hanging into people. But see, they shouldn't be in the middle of the track either.
No, not if he's trying to finish his race.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So, guys,
crazy.
I think we expected a little bit, didn't we? And on the whole, I must admit it was probably cleaner than I thought it was going to be. I expected that we was going to have a couple of block track incidents. We had one right near the start, but it seemed to clear itself on its own. Pete, what did you think for round one of a series?
I think for round one of the series on a street circuit with lots of concrete walls, it is a very technical track. In a new car to everybody, reasonably. They've only had a week of it, haven't they? It was a very exciting race. The block track at the beginning created a lot of drama, if nothing else. And the guys at the front were racing like unbelievably. Some of the times they were putting in were incredible, and they stayed together the whole race. And we were like commentating on all sorts of drama all the way through. It was a fantastic race to watch. Like we said halfway through, some of these incidents, if it was on a standard track with no concrete walls, cars would have disappeared off into the distance, and it would have been a non-event, as it were. But because of the walls, it makes it a completely different style of race. I think the racing standard was reasonable. There was some very questionable moves from certain individuals, which will probably get addressed through the protest process that they have running. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great race. I've never seen so many Lamborghinis, all different shapes before, but it was good fun. And hopefully everybody at home enjoyed watching it.
Okay, so let's bring you our official finishing order before we start the interviews. So first place went to Sam Coitert for Racecraft Esports, team that we know well. Maximilian Paul for GazX Team Pink in second, and Danny Cruz, who is a privateer, in third. Mirko Bortolotti came in fourth, Sam Holt fifth, Perry Heineken in sixth, Tom Voss seventh, David Plasman eighth, Jerome Vahlet in ninth, Peter DeHoos in 10th, Flo Darms 11th, Magic Krolikowski in 12th, Jeffrey Cornell in 13th, Justin Nair in 14th, Marvin Amantz in 15th, Niels Langeveld in 16th, Niels Costa in 17th, and Richard Bukima in 18th.
Okay, we'll take it from there. Kaz Brinkhuizen in 19th, Simon Van Dyke in 20th, Ben Edelman in 21st, Eric Verloog in 22nd, Stefan Van Deer in 23rd, Quentin Floor 24th, 25th Jensen Luudi, 26th Elvis Bonello, 27th Perry Oosterver, 28th David Omizi, 29th Davey Ritzma, 30th Shay Van Workum, 31st Ricardo Rukoma Rishi, 32nd Gianni Kratz Van Day, 33rd Julian Rambu, 34th Jelly Bino, 35th Will Egby, 36th Nels Tistas, 37th Andrew Vendellen, 38th Vort Van Dick Ban. Somebody else, please.
York Van Wyck.
Thank you.
And then the two at the bottom of the field, I don't think they started.
They didn't actually
No, they
start the race.
Yeah.
So, right, let's, without further ado, Pete, let's bring in our race leader for you.
Sam, first of
race
all,
winner.
yeah, race leader, race winner, very good. Sam, tell us how you say your surname first, because we've been butchering it all night long.
Yeah, you're not the first one with that. Kuitert. But it's
Kuitert.
on,
Yeah, I was
Right.
right.
it's on Dutch.
You
know.
were right. You were
You weren't
miles
right.
away.
Shut up.
Oh my god, you can't even see
What a
right from where you
liar.
are.
Yeah.
Anyway, start to finish, led the race, and did a fantastic job in the face of some extreme congestion on a very, very technical track, which can, well, basically ruin your race in an instant if you get anything slightly wrong. So, a fantastic race from you, Sam. Were there any standout moments from you?
Lap 1, where I almost hit the wall at exit turn 1. That was a bit too close, but it didn't give any damage on the end. For the rest, it was just being so cautious with all the cars you were lapping, because they can move to every side to the circuit and just let you pass on strange positions. So you have to be more cautious with that than with the walls here, for my feeling. But yeah, overall, solid pace. Didn't push it on the end, not to hit the wall. But yeah, came too close. I had a bigger cap, of course. But yeah, a win is a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And you came up on the back of some back markers who caused you a bit of a problem. We saw you flashing your lights at some of them. There was a strobing car that was coming in and out of existence, and you couldn't see where it was for a while. We were wondering how you'd navigate through that. What do you think of Long Beach then as a track? Obviously, you love it, seeing as you've won here. Why wouldn't you? And the guys that were giving you quite a lot of pressure, Maximilian and Mirko particularly. Danny, I think, was a bit further back, didn't really pressure you as such, but he was still in the picture. How did you think that whole equation went on in terms of the pressure from those guys on a track like this?
Well, on the beginning, it was just pushing all the time, and but I know if I kept him on 5/4 out of the last corner, he would have passed me. So that's where I just focused on, not to hit the wall in all the laps, and then get a good exit. But yeah, it was a really big pressure till one of the, I think, lap cars came in, and then got a bit shaked up. But Maximilian especially, what I saw from the Delta, it was going up and down, and he can go closer, and then 2 laps later, I gained again. So yeah, I looked to that a lot and felt the pressure a bit, but yeah, I also believe you don't need to feel the pressure that much, because it's gonna click in your head then, let's say it like that. So yeah, just being relaxed. So try to, as always.
Fantastic result again. Is there anybody you'd like to have a shout out to and thank before we let you go?
Yeah, my team, of course, Racecraft Esports. Have learned a lot by them in the last few months, so really enjoying really like to see what's happening in the future with it, and where we can come.
Stuff. And thank you for a fantastic and entertaining evening of racing. Sam.
Okay, so that was Sam, exactly how I was saying it all the way through the broadcast. So, right, let's bring in our second place driver, Max Paul. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, guys.
Hello. So, from our vantage point, that was a race of 2 halves for you. You know, the first half of the race, you was putting Sam under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I was quite close to him the whole time. I had good pace until I've done a small mistake in the last corner, which cost me a second. Then I was quite constant behind him, and I was hoping for the pit stop to gain some time, which I actually got. But due to traffic and everything, it was quite difficult to keep the same distance. In the end, we were really close. He has done a really good race, and looking forward for the next round and see what we can do there.
Yeah, I was going to say that the second half of the race, when traffic came into it, and sometimes you're lucky with traffic and sometimes you're unlucky. You seem to be very unlucky with the traffic. They seem to cost you a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly. Some guys, like when they come out of the pits, you just have them in front. For sure, it's difficult to judge it right when you come out of the pits to let the leader or the second place pass. But in the end, I mean, it's for everyone the same. One has luck, the other not. So
yeah, I'm sure it's something that the organisers are going to look at.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot really complain now. It's just a thing which has to be organized different, maybe, or we have to see.
Yeah, and then right at the end, at the hairpin, we saw Sam get held up, and all of a sudden you was right there, and it was like a last minute sort of do or die move that didn't quite come off in the end for the win.
Exactly. I tried to do the move there because he was opening all the time, opening the door all the time, but in the end, it would have been too risky. I think we would have crashed, so I thought, okay, it's better to stay calm and keep second place and watch for the next round.
Yeah, always good to bag some big points in the first round. Any other standout moments for you in that race? Did you have any major code browns?
Several, I have to say. The first 2 laps were quite tricky in T1. The braking zone is quite difficult to judge there when you have a full car, full fuel car compared to qualifying. But in the end, once you have a rhythm, it's really nice, a really nice track, and yeah, great to be here. Great to have the Lamborghini Cup. It was really nice, and thank you for everything.
Excellent. So before we let you go and change your underpants, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout outs to Mirko. Hopefully we fight in the next race together at the front.
Brilliant. Okay, well, go on. You got some more? Wife,
No, it's okay.
dog,
No,
girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe my cat.
And what's your cat's name?
Fritz.
Ah, Fritz. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we'll remember that for future broadcasts, and we'll start shouting your cat for you, so that he comes and climbs all over you when you're racing.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you in the booth, Max. Congratulations on your second place, and hopefully you'll come and talk to us again.
Of course, I'll try my best. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Max Paul. Okay, Pete. So next up, we have our third place driver.
So, good evening, Danny Kroos. Is that how you say your surname?
Yeah, about like that.
About like that. See,
Don't go easy on him, Danny.
No,
Tell him how it is.
No, I was mint. He said I got it perfectly right, so that's fine.
It's fine, it's fine. You will not be able to say it.
Oh, in that case, tell me, because I'm going to try and get Clyde to say it.
It's Kroos.
Oh.
Yeah, see, that's what I said in the broadcast.
Said
Yeah,
nobody
right.
ever.
Here we go.
So you were right up with the front guys all race. You fell back when there was some traffic, and then you got back in front of Mirko because he pitted early, didn't he? And you ended up leapfrogging him as part of the pit stop situation. And then you had a little battle at the end with him, but ultimately you had a fantastic race. Were you aware of all the carnage behind you?
No, actually not. I mean, I was just focusing on the front, and at some point with the traffic, I lost to Mirko and the top 2 guys. So, yeah, at that point, I was just focusing on not crashing with the lap cars. And then I saw him pitting earlier, so I knew that I had to push to go in front of him. I managed to do that, and then after that, I knew that to go to second was too far. So I just was really careful not to crash again and hold Mirko behind to the finish. So it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it's a difficult track to get round without hitting something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I had like 10 0x's with scraping the walls, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I like the street course. It's really nice.
Yeah, it is a nice track. There's some places that really want to destroy your car, though, isn't there? You got to be very careful around that fountain for a start. The hairpins, very difficult to navigate. How did you find pit entry?
Actually, I didn't practice anything because I was really busy this week. So I jumped in the free practice. Didn't have a setup because I thought it was fixed setup. Managed to make something real quick, and then I went out and it worked really well. So yeah, the pit entry was quite hard. I even crashed into the pit entry in my lap after the race, so that was how hard it was.
Right, okay. So interesting after the race for you. Yeah, we saw you navigating through traffic. Traffic must have been a real pain for you in this race.
Yeah, of course I have a lot of experience with the real thing. So yeah, you just have to think what they are thinking, because of course they are driving their own race, so you need to be really careful. But at the end, I managed quite well to make up some of the time, so that was good.
Right, excellent. And you race in the real world then, yeah?
Yes, I'm racing with Lamborghini, so I know the car really well.
Gee, I wish I could. I can't even look at a Lamborghini, Clyde. What about you?
No, just a question then, Danny. How does this sim Lamborghini compare to the real one?
To be honest, it's feeling really, really equal to the real thing. I mean, of course, you don't have the G-forces and those things, so you cannot really feel the downforce of the car. But yeah, I mean, the braking and especially the how it handles on the bumps, it's almost spot on. So that's really nice.
Excellent. That's always
Yeah.
good to hear. Sorry,
It
Pete.
is. No, that's fine. Good question.
Danny, let me ask you a question. How you said you threw together a quick setup? How did that compare with the setup against like the real car? Did you kind of do the same things you do in the real car?
Yeah, to be honest, yes. I just took the setup from Monza. That is completely different. I took the spreadsheet and just had a look at it to see some things. Tried it. Was not working really well, but it was better than the baseline setup, so I just went with that.
Yeah. I was the only reason I ask is because some of the other cars in the iRacing are, you hear from the real drivers that drive them and say it's really a lot of fun. It feels right, but you try to set it up the way we do on the track, and it's like totally different. That's why I asked you. But thank you for the information.
Yeah, no problem.
So, are we going to see you back in all the races and right at the pointy end for each one, do you think?
Yeah, I will try to be there for the races. I mean, I'm third in the championship now, so at least
yeah, you've got
keep it like that.
Got to race it out now.
Yeah, exactly. Now I have to do it.
Yeah.
No, we're going to protest you and get you a penalty.
So, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank my sponsor SimX Pro for providing me my new sim rig. It feels really amazing, so yeah, really happy with them.
Have they got any of them for me?
I will ask for them.
Shy Kid's getting out. Fantastic night's racing, Danny, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you very much.
See you next time, guy. Bye.
Okay, so that was interviews with our top three. Bill, obviously me and Pete have already done a little bit of a race summary. Give us your race summary.
Well, surprisingly, I think it turned out a lot better than I expected. Like you, I figured that hairpin or the first corner was going to be full of cars. But, we had that one turnaround in the very beginning, but really it cleared fairly quickly. I was kind of surprised. The first 4 or 5 guys did an excellent job of staying out of trouble and coming home where they really deserved to come home. They worked hard at it. They drove clean and fast, and I guess that's what you got to do. I've never done it, so I couldn't tell you, but it looked like it's what you're supposed to do. A lot of mid-pack battles, almost the same as a Stanley Shaw show with a couple of the guys, glued together, and it really a few little dicey situations, but doesn't that happen? It's auto racing. I mean, that's what happens. So it was a really good experience, and wouldn't mind doing another one, to be honest with you.
Well, your wish will come true in a fortnight's time.
Oh, okay.
Tyler, we've heard, we've got some proper races in this series, and some very, very quick sim racers as well. That bodes well for the rest of the season. And also, give us your summary of the race.
Yeah, I thought the race was excellent. I think, you have 40 cars on a track that has a 1-minute lap and concrete walls on either side. You're going to have some comings together. It was pretty inevitable. So I think the fact that there were incidents is not an indictment on the series. I think, frankly, the standard of driving was pretty impressive. Obviously there were, so some struggles with traffic and some contact that will likely be protested after the race. But we heard from Yella before the race that the organizers are going to be looking closely at that and assigning penalties. So I have a feeling that the driving standards will only get better from here on out. And I have to say they were pretty good here today. I thought the race was great. I thought it was, obviously after the pit stops, we kind of lost that battle for the lead for a little bit until right at the end. But I mean, there was stuff happening constantly throughout the field. I think there must have been some direction from Next Level Racing as the organizers of this series to make sure they put on a show for us, because they sure did with their battling in the middle of the field. And yeah, I think it's really great. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. It's a pretty great selection of tracks they're going to go to. I think it'll be a great set of races.
Sorry, my dog is now trying to eat my microphone. Yeah, the next level guys, you couldn't separate them on track. Top tip for you guys at Spa: just go 4 wide everywhere, and no one's going to get past you. It's a winner. And you now owe me money for telling you how to win the race. So that was round 1. As I said, it's back in a fortnight with round 2. I'd like to thank all the drivers. Long Beach isn't an easy track, but I think they did the best that they could. Thanks also to everybody that's watching, or watched, or will watch in the future. That's a bit of a mind bleep. I agree with Tyler. It is I don't think that was bad, and I think it is also most definitely going to get better. So really, really looking forward to Spa. Thanks to the organisers for putting on the series. Thanks to Sam for doing the cameras. Pete, Bill, and Tyler for joining me in the booth. We've got one more race to do before Christmas. Just one more race. That is next Wednesday. And it is the EDF Motorsports GT4 TCR Challenge. We've got a nice weekend off this weekend, so I'm sure we're all going to get very, very drunk. If you like this video stream, whatever you want to call it, I'm very old-fashioned. Please give us a like. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, and you will never miss one of our broadcasts again. So at this point, it just leaves me to say goodnight to everybody. Let the guys say goodnight, and then we'll close the broadcast. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Look forward to seeing you next time, and watch more of our stuff because it's funny.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to my colleagues for making this a lot of fun. See you in a couple weeks.
Good night, everybody. Hope to see you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, Pete is funny sometimes. See you on Wednesday.